Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the 2020 LCK wildcard match, and it is Damwon up against KT. KT able to tie up the series 1-1 as we will go into one final game to decide who is going to move on to the next round of the playoffs. Will it be Damwon with the relatively strong drafts, or will it be KT with a bit of cleaner play there in game number 2? That is the question, Ellis.
So basically, in game number 2 and 1, both of the red teams ended up having the more scaling team composition, and it came online in both of the series. Player of the game is going to go over to aiming on the Varus. He dealt in obscene amounts of damage this game, as it was really easy for him to be protected by all of his teammates, and then the Mountain Soul coming in just granted him that much of extra safety. As we take a look at some of the highlights, Pantheon could not find his way in at all.
This Kuro highlight is actually really great. You guys were talking about the secret highlights from a couple days ago. I do think I gave my vote over to Kuro. I really think he was the one that got the train going for the side of KT. Obviously, aiming, he shoots arrows really well, but he wasn't the sole or main reason even why KT won the game in my mind. But I think it's just a difference in, our philosophies on how we vote for the players of the game. As we're going to take a look here at exactly how many votes there were. 7 out of 9. You and me, Ellis, were the only ones that did not vote for aiming. So the English cast looking a fool once again, I suppose.
Well, we'll have to see what ends up happening in Game 3 for the player of the game vote. This one, obviously, we're both really off. I went for Bono because I think that he was integral to preventing a super snowball up in top lane. And I think the game would have just got blown wide open without that. But aiming was really key in the later stages. Remember, he removed LeBlanc from one of the team fights entirely with 2 arrows.
Yeah, his arrows were absolutely on point. I just don't know if we would have gotten to that point without some of the other members, but it is what it is. As we are going into the third and final game, KT once again on blue side. Doesn't want to see that Zoe once again. And we'll have to see if Damwon can kind of draft Kingdom then here again, as they did on red for game number 1, because that was absolutely one-sided, but we'll see how the picks and bans go differently this time around.
Well, Olaf being banned away by Damwon. KT banning Zoe and Set so far. And we'll see what Damwon's next ban is going to be. And I wonder if they'll go back to trying to respond to all of their opponents' picks here in game number 3 and trying to close it out that way, as KT, they're back on the side where they have a massive win rate. Historically, they've done very well on blue, picking champions up initially, but Kalista and Senna are both available right now. So we'll see which one Damwon elect to ban away, or maybe just none at all.
Yeah, that's always the question. We saw that coming there in game number 2, as we will not see the Olaf this time. I'm a little bit happy about that. It's not like the Olaf didn't do work in game number 2 or anything, but I'd like to see some variety. No Trundle, no Olaf this time around. It's KT. They do have Kalista staring them right in the face. We'll see if they do go ahead and pick that up, or maybe they'll just pick up Varus once again.
Well, it is picked up Kalista, and now Damwon have the option to respond. Now, the scary thing about the Kalista is that obviously she's flexible. She can go bot lane, she can go top lane. You know about the Taric pairing as well. And what is Damwon going to end up doing? It looks like Jace is going to be locked in for Nuguri, most likely. Obviously does have the ability to be flexed into mid lane. And we'll see if they end up locking in... No, they're not. They're actually just going to go with the blind support. And once again, it's going to be Thresh on R2.
Yeah, we do see that Thresh once again. The VAR is still available, but, you know, they don't necessarily have to pick it right away here. I'm not sure that they would be scared of KT picking it up after the Taric, which seems kind of obvious with the Kalista. So the Taric will come down, and now we'll see what comes out here. Will they go for jungle, or maybe something like an Azir that, you know, is a top-tier mid pick, but instead they will go for Sejuani just right off the bat.
Taric and Sedge both being locked up is really scary because Damwon are already a little bit less forgiving with their champions, depending on how the remainder of this draft does round out. But now, very defensive and offensive tools, both in KT's hands, as now Sylas picked up. Now that can be also flexed with the Jace, and as well as the jungle. So it's concealing a lot of information. It does make the bans for KT most likely only centered on AD carry. I can't imagine them doing anything different because Olaf, I mean, already banned away. Trundle also already banned away. So the Sylas is already there. He can easily just go into the jungle role. It would be very... Okay, well, Draven.
The target.
Yeah, the target onto Ghost. They're going to take that away from him. Maybe thinking that, hey, this would be one of the good Draven spots for Damwon. Draven, I know that we've spoke about it on the broadcast throughout the entire spring splits. At some point, the best AD carry against Kalista. There's no one else that really straightens her up as much as he can, and Ghost is a Draven player.
That he is. It gets denied, and we will not be seeing Draven. Now, do you go ahead and ban another AD carry like a Varus here? Something that can play well into the bottom side. It is going to be the Varus, and so you were right. A couple of AD carries are going to be focused down by KT and denied from Damwon. And so what will be the pick here in the AD carry role? Looks like it will be Misfortune.
And MF being hovered right now, still very scary. Oh! All right, they're going to try to go into Kog'Maw as a means to stand their ground against KT's hard engage. Neeko being hovered. Nope, all right, not gonna be Neeko. It looks like Aatrox is now being hovered to go potentially top lane. So this would be the Kalista Taric down in bottom. Now the question for me, though, that is a little bit peculiar is how are they going to build this Kog'Maw? Because they don't really have a Juggernaut comp as it stands, because they have a Thresh, they have a Sylas, they have a Jace, and now with Syndra coming out, things begin to get a little bit bizarre because it's very easy to itemize against the magic resistance. So does Kog'Maw end up going for... Okay, well, now that LeBlanc comes in, I actually think the LeBlanc... So the reason the LeBlanc comes in instead of the Syndra is if they really do think that the Sylas could be mid, they want to get the leg up in that regard. But the Syndra would have a lot more potency against everything else on the side of Damwon, who are now hovering in a Kali. And that's a lot of magic damage.
Well,
and that's even more magic damage.
Yeah. And it does get locked in. Corki into the LeBlanc is something we have seen in the past a lot. And it's something that we're seeing more of, at least the champion. So, very interesting. Lots of magic damage, as you mentioned. just in those 3 middle picks there on the right side. And it also kind of gives them 280 carries in a sense that will scale with some of those AD items, although Corki does pretty much only AP damage. So very interesting kind of scaling here on the side of Damwon.
Yeah, there's a lot of scaling on their side, but there's also a lot of value on the side of KT as well. So this one's a little bit interesting for me to actually think about here. I'm gonna need a little bit more time, Valdez, to sort of think like who really has the edge coming out in this draft, because this is very peculiar. It's not every day that you see Corki Kog'Maw paired together, a Sylas who feels very off theme with his team composition, and then the Jace. Jace is the lone source of physical damage, so not a whole lot of incentive for armor on the side of the opponents. LeBlanc probably not going to end up getting Zhonya's Sejuani, however, and Aatrox both should still have armor. Taric does have armor as well, but it really just needs to create opportunity for the Corki and the Kog'Maw to really bring the opponents down to lethal. So this one's weird. Take it away, Valdez. I'm gonna need a couple of seconds.
Yeah, you take a lot of seconds. Oh yes, he's using the best skin, the Pugmaw skin. My favorite. I love Pugmaw. He's very cute. It really changes the image of Kog'Maw entirely, as normal Kog'Maw is very scary with his gaping, poisonous mouth. So, very much a big fan. I love that he barks every time he attacks with his W as well. So that does make me feel good. As Kalista and Taric together are currently at 60.6% win rate, 20 and 13. And we'll see how it does fare against the bottom lane of Kog'Maw Thresh, which is definitely something you don't see every day. How are you doing over there, LS? You ready to take it away and you give us your prediction?
I'm thinking that I think the drafts are both really close. I think that they're both really close in some ways, because there's clear weaknesses on the side of Damwon that KT can really abuse, but likewise Damwon, if they're ever able to just stabilize, things get scary, and then 4 items forward, Damwon should never be able to lose a team fight, realistically, if they can get there. But the mid game is what's so scary for me, given the dynamic, because Sejuani has so much potency. I would rather be Damwon, and I think I'm gonna give them the leg. I'm gonna predict Damwon to win this game.
Okay. I'm gonna predict KT.
All right.
I'm gonna take
polarity.
The other side.
Polarity between us. Yeah.
There's only 2 choices, so I'm gonna go for the other one, and I feel like I'm just a little bit biased though, because I look at the players and what they're playing rather than just the drafts on paper, which is of course not what you're rating it on. But yeah, I mean, Kuro, he's back on LeBlanc. He was one of the main reasons why we actually saw a LeBlanc resurgence in the LCK. He played it a couple of times and just rolled face on it. And then Faker's like, oh yeah, I play that champion too. He started playing it. And then it started getting banned a lot because everybody was like, well, this is a real problem. We can't just pick, kind of stale, boring farming mid laners against some LeBlancs that just tear our team apart and tear open the mid lane. And so definitely looking forward to seeing what Kuro can do on this pick. I love that he went for a confident pick for the last game, because it's do or die now. This is the last chance.
Yeah.
And if you don't win, you're done until summer.
Yeah, and you can see Kuro has so much more HP. He's really won the Econ War, and this is a nightmare for Showmaker. Definitely played the lane phase a lot weaker than Kuro, as he does have the teleport, but so does Kuro. Doesn't even matter though. Got so much more XP over Showmaker. We'll see how quickly he can shove this in. You can see that he's looking for the LeBlanc. He's trying to stop the recall. He might actually go for the Prosperous Bomb. Not going to actually do it in the end. Tier was picked up, but still advantage handed over to Kuro. who, at the end of it all, I think is up about 4 minions in terms of golden XP. So, Nuguri trying to put a clinic on up here in top lane. Canyon gonna get the left-hand side Scuttle Crab. Sejuani just going even with the Sylas in terms of speed. Kog'Maw going even down there in bot lane. Talisman Tick is gonna end up killing that. Aatrox has to be really careful. He's gonna be fine though. Take it away, Melvis.
I'm ready. I've been waiting all my life for this one moment. As you can see, Showmaker does have the refillable, but this is the second time now in a row that we look at the mid lane and look at where it's frozen too. Kuro's like, yeah, you keep losing traits to me. How about I just sit this lane right in front of my turret as well? It's not going to feel good for Showmaker in this lane.
Nuguri is in a bit of a pickle because he wants to get this wave crash, and then he wants to recall. Staying in this wave would be really, really bad because you know that Sejuani is in such close proximity, and maybe he doesn't feel this way, as Corki is going to recall, taking more bad trades, is staying relatively even in CS. Kuro actually making a bit of a blunder, doesn't stand further up in the lane, and so Showmaker gets a recall off that easily could have been cancelled by a Q or an E out of the LeBlanc, and he's going to get a reset for free. And all that Kuro needed to do to prevent this was stand more on the right-hand side. There's no way that he ever dies to a Sylas, even if he came into the lane. And so Showmaker bailed out a little bit and ends up picking up a Cull to sort of stop the bleeding, as this is just going to be a very scaled-out lane. It seems almost like across the entire board.
Yeah, we are going to be just chilling for now. Nobody going for that Ocean Drake that is spawning first this time around. No Cloud Drake first in this game, actually, so will be a bit of a different possibility, as we could, in fact, have a Cloud Soul coming out here. And take a look at the top lane. The Jace that was banned twice by KT squeaks through this time around, and you can see one of the main reasons why. Not only is it flexible, but Nuguri is quite good on the champion and is already exerting his dominance up here. Obviously, Jace a pretty nice lane bully, one of the hardest to deal with. And so on just going to be pushed in over and over as Nuguri slowly gets that lead in the CS and turret plates.
Well, Soan is falling a little bit down in the CS department to the Jace, but lanes against Jace are typically measured by how close you stay to him, even if you are behind. So, one turret plate has already gone down, but you gotta give credit to Soan. He's managing to stay afloat. Not sure if how far down he is in the XP department. Is gonna end up dinging level 7, I believe. Okay, well, that's a really bad trade.
You see the way that he predicted that, by the way?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, you're probably going to dash forward with your Q right now. And Canyon, he's level 6, but he's not going to check. Oh, I think someone just showed.
Yeah. This could
definitely knows now.
They're gonna play it safe, it seems.
Okay.
Now they know that Sejuani's on the right-hand side, but it doesn't look like Kog and Thresh are in any danger. And also, the question that I was asking earlier on is, which variation of Kog'Maw do you end up going here? Because there's merit to going for attack speed on hit Kog'Maw. That way you can get to Guinsu's, you can get the Wit's End against the LeBlanc and the Sejuani, and Runon's Hurricane and whatnot. You can go down that route with Blade of the Ruined King. And alternatively, there's lethality Kog'Maw, so that you're not lethality, crit Kog'Maw, so that you're able to do more physical damage and mix up the kind of damage that's on your team. And it looks like he will be going for the Bilgewater Cutlass into the Blade of the Ruined King, most likely. And so it will mix up the damage that is present on the side of Damwon. And Cloud Dragon coming up second, not the end of the world. Typically third Drake is when scaling team compositions start to come online, bailed out by the Lantern. But yet again, scaling team comp rotates for early Herald. They could have just been in bot lane.
Yeah, get that Kog'Maw fed and ahead. He's going to come in here and steal Showmaker's farm. That's not great. It's like, oh, well, all right. Now, I suppose they thought they could take a fight, especially because the package was available for Showmaker, and maybe they could get something going, but it generally does not pan out very well, especially up against what KT has in their lineup. So another bit of a blunder there. They are going to go for a lane swap as Jace is heading down bot with aiming, actually having picked up that Rift Herald. And they're going to go for the ultimate here, not expecting this was Kuro, but he's going north. Okay. He's going to try to hop back, and with the flash, it looks like he is going to get away, even though the big one is going to shoot him in the face. But did take a big chunk of damage, so will have to back away. Doesn't quite have his teleport just yet, so Showmaker could have taken a plate here, but decides against it.
Yeah, and so one of the interesting things is that Damwon, they should have accounted for the bounce back on the LeBlanc there, because even chasing LeBlanc through the jungle is still a really big win. Showmaker would be able to get 2 turret plates, crash the minion wave. LeBlanc would lose out on all of that while she's running for her life with distortions through the red side jungle of Damwon. But instead, they try to chase her up towards the Raptor camp, forget that she can blink back, and nice attempt by Kuro, ends up being successful, and he finds a way to get a recall off. Doesn't end up losing all that much. The gold score is so even right now in this game. Things are definitely dicey.
And it really does speak to how closely matched these two teams are. Just in game 1, kind of slightly going Damwon's way, and then game 2 slightly going KT's way, and now game 3. Early game pretty close so far, as it does stand. Now the scaling team comp does have a little bit more gold in their pockets as of now, but the majority of that is in the top lane, because Nuguri does have that big difference up there. He's already taken out 2 turret plates. And, of course, the Rift Herald still hasn't been used, so it is going to even up once that objective does come down. As Kuro, once again, being a little bit of a bully in the mid lane, having a bit of fun on his LeBlanc.
And KT, I mean, they're sort of just sitting pretty. Now, Showmaker, he's going to have the call completed here soon. Most likely Yumu's Wraithblade on completion here for Jace. Now, I'm curious to see if he'll run down towards the dragon and then teleport back up to top. That would be an option to get themselves the Cloud Drake as...
Oh. Okay.
Wow, okay. Well, that was really close. As Rift Herald summoned now, they're going to get a lot of gold onto aiming.
Yeah, that they should. Bono's here too. Hook will come down here, but Fate's Call available. TP's coming in from both sides. As, okay, right in the front there, he's just going to get flayed to his death as Kuro teleports to certain death in the front there. Expected to have a chance to hop away on the LeBlanc as everything diffused so quickly. A lot quicker than he would have expected, I imagine.
Yeah, so they end up getting the turret plates, but the problem is Kuro donates the exact amount of gold back and then more because it's kill plus assist. And also wastes a lot of time on the map. This is a lot of XP in mid and gold that he's now going to be losing by dying. So the total effect is felt a lot more. It's not just the turret plates versus the kill and the assist. It's also the mid minions. Now KT, they're going to bounce back though.
See ya.
Yeah, killing Barrel. As Pugmaw, I mean, I'm not sure if that breed of Cog really likes to walk that much, but is getting a bit of exercise. You know what dog I was watching YouTube videos of yesterday?
Which one?
Samoyed. Samoyed. You know what?
Samoyed.
Yeah, the walking cloud.
Yeah, the one you always talk about.
It's a cloud.
It's a real cloud in real life.
Cloud in real life, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
kind of just
adorable.
floats by.
Yes. They're adorable.
Yeah, very fluffy.
Yep.
We're going to take another look here at Kuro just dying.
And yeah, Kuro, I mean, he teleports in and immediately gets hit buy the stolen Sejuani ultimate, and he probably
Outplayed.
feels like, yeah, exact, no doubt.
돈만 먹을 때?
돈만.
탑솔로 텔 있어.
Uh,
돌아볼게.
좋다.
탈볼게,
탈볼게. 뭐야. 가는 중.
안 와도 돼.
참, 나 일단 각 보고 있어.
르블랑인데? 노플. 나이스!
Yeah.
Say,
No
get
flash,
it,
no
get it,
flash,
get it,
nice
get it?
save. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Feral.
Yeah. Just that was a nice little sneaky play actually from KT, just saying, okay, they're not going to have vision in the lane. Let's hide here for a long time and catch them by surprise. They'll probably think we backed in dismay after losing our LeBlanc. Doesn't actually work out. And Damwon are going to be especially happy because that kill does go on to one of their scaling champions, one of their 80 carries. Showmaker especially famous for his Corki in the Corki Azir meta and afterwards. So it's cool that we see Showmaker on Corki. And remember, he was considering the Akali as well, which is another pick that he was well known for back when he first got into the LCK up against Kuro's LeBlanc, which he's absolutely known for as well. So kind of a star mid lane matchup here.
And, well, Damwon, they pick themselves up the Herald. And we'll see how they elect to use that. Looks like they want to crash it up in top lane immediately, as things are looking pretty stable for Damwon all across the board. Bottom, however, I mean, there's a push coming in, but Kog'Maw doesn't mind this. They're not going to lose the turret. Kog's just going to continue to be able to farm safely, even though he is pushed in. Bono! Yeah. Not
What
gonna
about
actually,
Bono?
I thought he was going to go for the ult on Corki.
Oh. Didn't quite pan
I
out.
thought he knew. Whatever. You
Apparently he
really took it away from it. Take it away.
I thought you wanted me to take it away.
Take it away. Over to
He
you.
almost, yeah. Thank you for handing it over.
Take it away.
Now is not a great time for me to take it away though, because there's nothing happening. This is where a play-by-play feels most uncomfortable. But yeah, we're probably gonna have to wait for this Infernal Drake to spawn before we do get some action. Yeah, why don't you take it away?
Normally, I don't try to display. Get your wine glass ready.
Okay. Ooh,
So
okay.
right now, Corki, he pressed Q, and now he pressed E. Kog'Maw right-clicking, Corki right-clicking with Q, stopped, and now everyone's right-clicking. Take it away, Valdez.
Thank you.
Took your breath away? No big deal.
that,
I'll keep
yeah.
going. Yeah, don't worry about it. So
You got more?
right now we're
What?
we're in a lull state. 30
Who's this guy?
seconds until the Infernal comes up. And this is going to be dicey. I don't think Aatrox is going to be able to get to the Black Cleaver. So the Jace is going to be more potent at this upcoming team fight. And it's in 20 seconds. And realistically, Damwon should have control.
Damwon should. We'll see if they actually do. As a lot of the times the teams should do one thing but do another, or fail and in the moment. League definitely a game of inches, as currently KT control all of the real estate in the river. That hook was close. Feral taking a little chance there. He's going to lose a big chunk of damage, as aiming also will get poked down here, but he's got lifesteal. Should be able to get it back from this dragon real quick. You see the Rift Herald has gone mid, but now a bunch of sticks into that dragon. Can they actually steal it away? The answer is going to be no. Feral in the front line is going to live, actually, as the Drake has been taken by KT, but now they're just trying to get away. The flash forward there into the ult. Feral is going to go down, but has he baited his team into certain death? At least that will be the case for Bono, as he will be traded for the support's life, and it looks like Tucson also is going to meet that same fate. Girl looking for the trade. He nearly gets it, actually. If the chain landed, I think that would have been the kill. Shirley finally goes down in the mid lane. Did a nice chunk of damage.
Immediately, Corki teleports up to top lane. He wants to crash in that wave as well as the next one. So I'm not going to use TP anywhere. And so Damwon, they took a while to actually posture for this, and thus that's the Infernal Dragon going over for free to KT. Aatrox gets lit up just immediately before the fight even transpires. So this isn't a realistic representation of what a full-fledged team fight would look like. Beryl whips the flash hook, and right there they do get the cleanse out of aiming, who's then forced to flash away from Canyon, but Tushen couldn't quite get to the safety land. He ends up being dogged down, try as he may. As Kuro, he goes in with one distortion and a flash. So Canyon trading flashes with Kuro, that's actually going to be really valuable because Sylas often will start fights from a defensive angle and has less reliance than Kuro with the flash in terms of repositioning and whatnot against the Jace, the Corki, and the Kog'Maw, as Mikhail's was picked up. First item by Beryl, and that's going to be really valuable at harming the Sejuani engage because that's the only way that KT can engage without LeBlanc pulling off a miracle. So, 3,000 gold lead right now for Damwon. And the Cog and the Corki, they all continue to just get stronger and stronger. And now we even have resistances coming in on the Corki. This is the part of the game where KT at the next Infernal fight, it should probably be their last stand. If they win it, they can swing things back in their favor, try to get the Baron and take control. If they lose it, it's going to be lights out. Once the resistance items start coming in, there's no way for LeBlanc to get kills. There's no way for Sedge or Aatrox to get kills. There's going to be too much ammo on the Jace, Corki, and Kog'Maw.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just going to get ripped to shreds if they try to jump into a fight. And Infernal Soul can change that. They can rip the enemy team with their own shreds. But I don't know if we're actually going to get here to that moment, actually, because a couple of team fights now in a row have gone the way of Damwon, and that is not what you want with the composition that KT does have. So definitely looking pretty good to the side of Damwon here. We'll see if KT can somehow turn it around. He hasn't been able to be super effective, Kuro, that is, up in the top lane now on this LeBlanc. He's actually down a level compared to Showmaker and has died once, so that, the big pick of the LeBlanc for Kuro is not quite panning out for him just yet.
And you can see here, Damwon just sort of keen on posturing. More and more Runon's Hurricane picked up on the Kog'Maw. I'd really like to see Wit's End third to just continue on into the attack speed build on hit and get so much value against the Sejuani, Taric, and LeBlanc. As it looks like Corki even, he picked up a Null Magic Mantle, has short penetration boots, really trying to just go for damage. Very surprised no Merc Treads on him this game, given that it is a Sejuani and a LeBlanc. So he was against enemy AP mid, enemy AP jungle, and Tenacity, not super bad here either. So 3,500 gold lead right now for Damwon continues to exist. Remember, the Infernal Dragon is mitigating that a little bit, but the next Infernal should go over to Damwon, and that'll end up pretty much taking it away. As Valdez, take it away.
Thank you for that. I will certainly take it away from you. And yeah, just building up those resistances on the side. Everybody's got a little bit. QSS was purchased there for a second by Showmaker, but then he actually switches to the BF sword, as maybe he saw that Beryl has the Mikhails, and you really only need one Mikhails for the one Sejuani ultimate. Perhaps doesn't want to go into another cleanse, and it's a really big item timing because of this Infernal Drake. You need to have the best items possible to fight at this key moment in the game. As you can see, Canyon also going to have a Sejuani ultimate of his own. He's only been stealing those so far, as we are now posturing for this very key Drake.
Yeah, well, Control Ward ended up getting killed, so on here as well. Not going to be able to find a flank or anything of that nature. As okay.
Yeah, they're going to go on in there, but the stopwatch's going to be pretty good. But look at Showmaker and Ghost in the back. There's just a firing range right now, but so on. He's actually going to survive somehow, but the damage just never ends from the side of Damwon. Looking for that accelerated shock blast. The flash forward, and the hook is going to sail wide, but the last one is going to hit Tushen. They finally get a kill on the backside, but you guys can see that already. These team fights, especially when KT trying to funnel into that little alleyway, in the jungle, it's not going to go their way against Kog'Maw and Corki.
So the way that these two team compositions, even though we've outlined it a couple of times, it's mostly like a firing range. If they try to go into Damwon, they need to clap them in one fell swoop. And if they can't do that, the stand your ground on the side of Kog'Maw, Corki, and Jace is just way too valuable. They almost get Aatrox, and it was a really nice hook by Beryl, but you can see Kalista can't go forward. Sejuani can't go forward. It's too much damage. And honestly, I mean, he's a buff next patch. That's exactly what he's thinking. Corki not quite able to get the kill. Beryl misses yet another flash hook in the end as, okay, Damwon, they pick themselves up the Infernal Dragon. Things are continuing to get better for them now in this game. Aiming is going to need to be a hero because you can see that LeBlanc, she's not even itemizing damage anymore. She's itemizing luxury. Or not luxury, I should say. She's itemizing utility. She's getting Banshee's Veil, but it's too easy for Kog'Maw R and Corki R to pop that. It's very easy for them to bring the Veil down. So it ultimately just becomes a little bit of AP, and then the magic resistance. If your LeBlanc is building defensive when the game is neck and neck in a bit of a knife fight, you have a really big problem.
Yeah, and certainly I think we can all feel it at this moment in time that KT do have a little bit of a problem that is increasing rapidly at this point in time. They're going to have to rely on that hard all-in engage that you were talking about and giving Aiming the chance to do exactly what Kog'Maw and Corki did in that last fight, which is just stand back and fire away. As you can see, the Corki damage is just immense at this point in time. I don't know why you'd use that Sejuani ultimate against a Corki that has the package, but hoping, you know, just so much that he was not going to expect that play. But Showmaker on the ball there is going to avoid it, as we will be waiting for that next Infernal Drake in about 3 minutes.
It looks like Ghost, I mean, he picks up a Hex Drinker to mitigate the LeBlanc, so it's not actually going to be the Wit's End, and then he picks up a Pickaxe. So we'll see what ends up being his next item of choice. As Showmaker really close to getting the Infinity Edge. And yeah, I mean, this game just looks like we're going to enter into a little bit of a lull state. So Valdez, the time currently is 7:49 p.m., April 18th, and I think it's time for another episode of Forbidden Love.
This is going to be a short one, but sure.
Sure, like we have to consent and opt into it. Oh, man. It's
Well,
totally fine.
Yeah, we're here. And, yeah, I mean, we absolutely are not going to have action until the Infernal Drake does spawn. I don't think either side is really going to try to push the issue at this point in time in such an important game. Both teams still 2 Drakes away from any kind of soul.
Well,
Okay. We are.
yeah, I'm
Alrighty.
not so sure about this one. I mean, Aiming doesn't take damage because able to have that shield as well as the healing via the Bloodthirster and the Blade of the Ruin King. However, Kuro does take a little bit of damage, going to end up recalling himself. And I don't know what Aiming's going to get. Maybe Stopwatch here on his recall? No, going to actually just pick up another defensive item. So Null Magic Mantle is picked up. As you can see that Aatrox is trying to make his way towards the Death Dance. But honestly, in these team fights, Aatrox, it's so hard for him to find any sort of an engage, and you're never going to be flanking this Damwon team composition. So it's mostly like he has to run straight into Damwon, and if you see an Aatrox running straight at you, you don't really care. You'll just light him up. He's not tanky or durable enough, nor is he threatening enough to the front line of Damwon, at least when they're so protected by all the damage that comes out by Kog and Corki.
Yeah, he's going to be at half health by the time he even lands one swing onto that back line, if he even gets there in the first place. I know that the flash hooks haven't been great from Beryl, but, I mean, he can at least press the box, or he can, you know, if Aatrox is just running straight at them, it's not going to be all that hard to get the hook down unless Solon does flash into the back line. As here we go, the Infernal is back and ready to be taken. Now, who's going to set this up here? You can see there's a lot of vision on many different sides from the side of KT. Damwon trying to deny that for now.
Wow.
Okay, just going for it here with a bunch of sticks as the Sejuani ultimate from the side of Damwon is going to come in. They're going to push Bono out here as in goes... Oh man, Solon is just going to blow up the Showmaker there. The Corki just immediately out of the fight as Goats trying to now kite them away, but after they take down the one big 80 carry, it is going to go entirely the way of KT, but the Drake here was actually stolen by Canyon. So a pretty nice pickup there, even though the fight was so desperately in favor of KT here.
The scary thing here is that now they're going to make their way over to the Baron. Jace has teleport available. He's going to be able to come back in. Now, it's a Kalista Ren, but depending on the speed at which they do it, maybe there's not enough Ren stacks. It could still come down to a Smite fight. Showmaker, he's up in 10. He has teleport. What a...
Okay, okay, that's not the way to do it. They went straight into the Baron pit. They gave 2 of their lives away. Now, Jace is still alive, but he's not getting in there anymore. No teleport going to come out from Showmaker as that idea is now dead. And there you go. The Baron will go the way of KT after Damwon are not able to successfully stop them.
I have no clue what to really say, because they easily could have just tried to slow down their Baron, bought time for Showmaker, and then immediately backed off and attacked Baron indirectly by capturing all the minion waves. And that would have slowed it down. It's not the end of the world if KT get the Baron, because they're not going to be able to end the game over it. And honestly, I mean, what team is Drake playing for? So, you know...
I was confused. I'm like, there's no Gragas in this game. How did he get pushed into the enemy team?
So the Dragon shoving the Corki in is really, really, really unfortunate. It let KT kill Showmaker for free. Canyon does a really good job at winning the Smite fight, and I don't know what Ghost is doing. I have absolutely no idea. I'm not going to try to pretend like there's something there, because there's just not. And he ends up dying. KT capture him. And remember, I mean, there was a mid-tier 1 turret up, Valdez. There was no reason to do that. So just like in game number 1, they just did something for super no reason, and they threw away a really good and stable game state. Not to say that they're not still with an advantage or in a lead in this game. They absolutely are. They might lose 2 more turrets at the end of this Baron push, but they're not going to lose the game. They got the second Infernal Dragon at Soul Point. So Damwon are still sitting comfortable, even if that fight was a little bit reckless.
Yeah, the game is absolutely not over as just point-blank ultimate straight into the Kalista. That does get cleansed. Aiming does have the cleanse here as Showmaker going in. You can see already he's doing some pretty nice chunking damage with a couple of crits straight to the face of LeBlanc. The push coming in here from KT, they're trying to get as much value out of this Baron as possible. As another teleport is going to go top lane. Doesn't look like Showmaker that time around wants to challenge the LeBlanc. He's just going to Valkyrie away.
Well,
Canyon here. Nope. No action just yet.
Yeah, and only 30 seconds until the Baron ends, so they should be able to hang on, and the gold advantage is not sizable enough to really mean anything, because we're in the middle. I mean, we're in the middle of the end stage, and then we're going to go to the super end stage. So this is when 4th items, 5th items, they start getting completed by everyone. And typically it's all utility items, but obviously LeBlanc itemized utility before offense, and so picked up the Void Staff. Finally, Mob Malmortius on the Kalista as well. Things can get a little bit scary, and yeah, turrets end up falling. So at the end of it, it's about a 2,500 gold advantage for KT, as Aatrox is now building tank items. So he seems like he knows his role in this game.
Just be a frontline and die and try to survive as much as possible in order to create space. Silas, just at the end of his cooldown there, he had stolen Kallista's ultimate, the Fate's Call. And he wants to be ready to steal another ultimate when it does come time for this Drake. As that's really going to be the juicy item on the menu. Everybody's going to be looking for that one. Kuro, nice little trade to start us off, but the package is also going to be available here for Damwon. And all Showmaker has to do is you know, just not get burst 100-0 by good old KT Infernal Drake this time around.
And you can see that the Infernal, or the LeBlanc is so key at trying to do stuff, but she has to be really careful because of stuff like that. Now, Tarek will be able to heal her back up. Canyon is maybe biting. Okay, this is. Why did it look like he was invisible?
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. I think it's because he has elixir. Okay. Still looking for the catches here as the big package is going to come in. And Kuro, he's going to get hit by the Silas, and down he will go. The burst damage comes in from Damwon, and they will pick up this Infernal Soul. They just burst that down so quickly that Drake had no chance. Damwon really angry at the Drake after that last fight. As now with the Infernal Soul and double ED carry at 35 minutes into the game, can Damwon lose? Is the only question I'm asking.
Damwon they're light years ahead now. The Infernal Soul is going to invalidate a lot of the resistances that are present on the side of KT. Without a mid laner, I don't even know. It's just an execution right now. It's a firing squad by the Corki and the Kog'Maw. And I don't know what KT is supposed to do at this point. Kuro doesn't even have teleport. It's not like they can look for a flank. This is going to be red buff going over as well. So Kalista, not going to have that for the Baron fight. Things are really scary. We take a look at how this happens. Dushin just gets completely blown up by the Corki. And then Showmaker basically says, I'm gonna go in here. He misses the Prosperous Bomb, but it doesn't matter because Canyon was there, and that was the Infernal going over. Now, interestingly, Bono doesn't try to go for the steal, even though I believe he had Flash. And I think going for the steal there is worth it, even if you die, because I think KT would be able to hold off. Maybe I'm wrong, though, at assessing the map state. Don't quite have it in my memory. That's a lot of damage, Valdez.
Three of them just bunch up for Corki Jace. That's a real feels bad man moment, as nothing now is going to go the way of KT. There's not even like backdoor potential or ways to play out the map from here. They really just have to get that godlike engage somehow and blow up one of the AD carries. It's really the only possibility for KT. Now, Damwon are still playing it pretty safely. They do not want to get flanked. That is the one key thing. They're like, nope, you're trying to come in from behind us here, Aatrox? The answer is no. We would not like you to do that. And they would just love to play front to back, you know, get the engages to come out from Canyon, from Beryl, and just, you know, send that, give the signal to the firing squad to just burst down anyone that's in their way.
Well, all right. At this point, Damwon are definitely being very safe and reserved. Kog'Maw actually picked up the Executioners as well. Just sold it for Zeal, I believe. And so not going to have that in the team fight on the Runon, instead valuing the attack speed and a little bit of movement speed there, as well as, okay, KT, they are, all right,
well, this is one way to try. Yeah, well, here we go. They're trying to burst down Beryl. They do have a nice amount of damage. There you go. Finally, the Cosmic Radiance keeps them alive for just a moment in time as everybody's flashing away on the side of KT. Nuguri coming in from behind now as everybody just on the run. Oh, man, the big one just gonna smack them all in the face. As Showmaker doing a little bit of a Pengu dab as the Quadra kill will come in here. It won't be the ace, but it is the Quadra that will send Damwon up to the next round of the playoffs.
And so Damwon and KT's Cinderella story here in spring 2020 as they look to basically stand their ground here and say, you know what, we were struggling for a little while, but they came in, they beat KT here in the 3-game set. Now they're gonna move on into the playoffs. And what an ending for KT, though. They fought valiantly, but it ends here.
Yes, the road ends here for KT. They fought so hard, but oh man, Damwon's. I feel like in game 1 and 3, game 1 more so, Damwon just crushed Draft. But then game 3, it was kind of hard, but they were able to make KT play their game and get the game into a later stage to the point where Corki and Kog'Maw were just way too strong. There were a couple of nice tries by KT, but the second the Infernal Soul went away, that was it. I mean, there was just no chance, really. Even if Beryl dies, it doesn't matter. They didn't need a front line because their front line was just pure damage. And yeah, we're going to have some pretty fun damage numbers. I think probably the Corki is going to be up there above 40k, if I had to imagine. And yeah, Damwon putting on a nice performance here. You know, they were very up and down, very inconsistent throughout the entirety of the regular season, but they're able to stay consistent for one best of 3 at least and win their way another chance at going to the ship.
They're already on the ship, Valdez, and they just took KT off it. And that is what ended up happening. So KT, they're off the ship. It's now only 4 teams remaining. It's going to be Damwon, DRX, T1, and Gen G. And that is a very hard gauntlet for Damwon to try to go through, as now they're the ones that are going to try to run through all 3 of the elite 3 teams. The Hydra, if you would say, is what is remaining for them, as things got dicey. Tonight's series, it really did feel like the drafts did matter quite a lot. In game 2, I didn't mind the way that Damwon tried to approach it because it was Nuguri up there against the Ornn. That can feel very comfortable. Kalista versus the Ornn dynamic, and you had Showmaker as well on his patented LeBlanc. So that's one of those things where you can look at it and you're like, yeah, there's weaknesses here, but you can feel good knowing that your 2-star players are on such key champions inside of the draft. However, all 3 games tonight, scaling basically set straighten up, as every game went the distance and every game came down to such clutch moments. I gave my POG over to Canyon because I felt like so many of his ultimates swung things in Damwon's favor. If you remember the LeBlanc pickoff down in bot lane, the Dragon Steal even, having the wherewithal to stay on top of it, get it. That's the thing that brought them to Soul Point and ended up getting it for them. I think all of his Sylas plays were so clutch at making things happen, even though Showmaker put on a show this game with his damage numbers.
Yeah, I think I went for a more, Korean-esque style vote. I did vote for Showmaker because every team fight, he was really consistent. I mean, this is just... you can't prepare for that, right? I suppose you can, but at the same time, it's like, who could have expected that in that fight? So, other than that one blemish where KT Infernal Drake actually does a really nice job to help them win the fight, wasn't enough. As Damwon were some moments that looked a little bit dicey, including here, where they essentially just give their lives away and the Baron to the side of KT. But I just love the confidence with which Showmaker was playing the Corki. Like even here where he's like, yep, here I come, frontlining. And then Canyon for the follow-up. But absolutely was the 2 of them that carried this team. And did a really fantastic job from there. And this is the last fight where they have Infernal Drake. Yes, okay, you lose your Thresh. Doesn't matter. The damage numbers are just insane at the end of this game.
Well, you can just sort of see that Damwon, they showed up to play here today. And unfortunately, if you are a KT fan, you didn't get excited enough, as that was the memo for them here in spring 2020. As this was
천천히.
says go slow, go slow, go slow.
아, 해볼만해. 딜해봐. 해줘. 칼리 노플.
Kalista no flash, Kalista no flash. I got it right.
아! 뿡!
Boom.
나 말로 안 해. 그냥 뛰어.
Thank you, Alex, for the translation.
Nice.
The boom. Yeah. Obviously, they are ecstatic after that victory because they know they move on to the next one as the Corki number is pretty insane. Nuguri didn't really receive too much attention from us, but obviously the Jace doing a pretty sick amount of damage as well. Felt like the Corki damage was sticking a little bit better in those ones, but very consistent as always was Nuguri from the top lane. As there you have it, 2-1. Damwon are going to win game number 3 in 38 minutes, almost 39. 3 long games in a row, actually, that did go the distance. And the scaling does win once again. The Sinners are once again not going to show up here today, LS.
Yeah, I mean, it not going to show up. So what a day for the Holy. As the sinful team compositions ended up all losing here today. We'll see what future series has in store for us. It's always a treat to watch champions like Elisa, Olaf, and Atrox struggle to do things sometimes. But I guess Olaf was on the side of victory here today. As player of the game, it will be Showmaker on the Corki. 5-1-6. And this was the pickoff on Tukuro. If you, you know,
that was a canon highlight,
yeah.
not as this one turns out to be a Showmaker highlight, but it's really more of an Infernal Drake highlight.
Yeah, the Infernal
and
Soul.
a scaling comp
Yep.
highlight. As
So
eventually
much
they just
value.
did too much. It was just way too much.
Corky's laugh, yeah.
That's how I felt after watching him. Big Corki fan. Let's see how many votes he did get. 6 out of 9. There were 2 Korean cast members that did vote for Beryl.
All right, and my memories of Beryl in that game, and correct me if I'm wrong, is him flashing and missing hooks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
At several
flashing,
points.
missing hooks, and dying. Like I don't know. Maybe they were voting for the Taric. Like I really do not understand that. Like that.
That's fine.
we can
Sometimes
pull out-
I shill for Chovy, and they
True.
think I'm,
Maybe they were
I'm
big
a donkey.
Beryl fans.
Yeah,
big
that's
Beryl
fine.
fans for sure. I'm going to hand it over to Ji-sun. She'll help translate this interview.
감사합니다.
Congratulations. Thank you.
선수 약간 왼쪽 어깨가 잘린 것처럼 나오는데 어깨
Nuguri.
될것 같아. 예,
Yeah, you can feel comfortable
네.
for this
깜짝
interview.
놀랐어요. 외국인 줄 알고. 먼저 와일드 카드는 뚫고 플레이오프
So
1라운드
congratulations on winning the wild card series and making it into the first round of playoffs.
오늘
Today,
뭔가 좀
어,
힘든 경기가 될 것 같았는데
we thought it's gonna
진짜로
be
좀
a
힘들게
hard match,
이겨가지고
and
좀
it really
뿌듯한 것
was.
같아요.
But it feels really nice since we pulled it off.
오늘 1대1 되고
Well,
나서 긴장도
when we
많이
were on
했는데
one-on-one, I was really nervous.
하다 지고 좀 많이
And
불안했었는데
especially I was feeling a bit worried after losing the dragon fight, but it's a bit relief that we got a win in the end.
준비 상황에 대한 내용들을 저희가 많이 말씀드렸는데
So Damwon Gaming, seems like you guys prepared a lot of picks. Syndra bought top Kalista. So, I mean, those aren't like so unorthodox, but at the same time, those aren't the mainstream champions in the current meta. Did you guys prepare for the wildcard series specifically? Well,
신드라 원딜이나 칼리스타
Syndra
탑이나
bought
예전부터
Kalista top. Both were like
예전부터 좀 이렇게
we've
유행을 했던 거니까
I mean, it
그때
was
또 이제
on
강간을
the
하면서 계속
meta
강간을
for a
하면서
bit of a
좀
time,
각이
and we
나와서
were
하게
waiting
된
for the situation, and today was the right time.
거기에서 이어지는 게 정글 판테온도 또 도입하셨고
Then what was the plan in going for the Pantheon jungle?
내부적으로 피드백이 좀 어떤 식이었나요?
So,
정글 판테온 압수인가요? 아니면 괜찮지 않나요?
What was the feedback after
어땠어요,
that
진짜
game?
2라운드 경기?
Will it be locked away?
원래 좀
Well,
하기 전에는
before
판테온 오늘
going
각이다,
into the
무조건
game,
쓴다,
we were like,
이런
today is
생각을
the
했는데
Pantheon day, and like
한판
we're going
하고
for it.
이제
But
다시 판테온은 함정인 것 같다.
Well,
다시 판테온 적어보자.
after the game, we realized that it was a trap card.
아, 근데 느낌은 충분히 줬어요.
네.
어떤 식으로 쓰겠다라는
I mean,
느낌은
we
충분히
did
준것
get some
같은데
impression
오늘 너구리
from that
선수도
play,
사실은 뭐 소환
going in so
선수와
hard.
정규 스플릿 때 좀 얽히고
And
섞인 장면이 많이
Nuguri,
있었잖아요. 상대편에게
how
뭐
was
쏠
your
장면이 있었습니다만
top lane
오늘
competition
도리어 더
up against
잡아내면서 그걸 좀
Because you got
돌려준
solo
장면도
killed
있었는데
during the regular
어떻습니까?
split,
오늘
but
이 장면
today
한번 돌려주기가
you
이런
solo
마음은 좀
killed him.
있었나요?
Did you want that revenge?
시작하기 전에 기사를 봤는데 제가
Well,
그렇게 많이 당했더라고요. 소환 선수.
I saw an article before today's series and I got solo
그냥
killed
알고
by him a
있었고,
lot, so
오늘
I was aware of
첫
that.
파밀에서 제가 또
And in game number
처음에
1 on
다이브까지 좀
Camille,
잘 성공해서
I
약간
pulled off a really
생각하는데
good dive, so I think I kind of got my revenge today.
그래서 너구리 선수가 사랑을 많이 받는 만큼 별명도 정말 많잖아요.
So Nuguri, you also have a lot of nicknames,
네.
아까 뭐 고립 그것 때문에 뭐
especially
뭐
about the
너구리?
isolated
뭐 이런
deaths.
것도 있었고,
So some people
너구리 뭐
call
이런 것도
you
있었고,
isolated Nuguri and stuff like that.
더구리 뭐 이런 얘기도 있고
You have a lot of cute
별명들이 굉장히 많이
nicknames
생기고 있어요. 엄청 잘한다고.
from your in-game plays.
어떻습니다? 뭐 마음에 드는 별명 좀
How do you
생겼어요,
like
이번
it?
스플릿
Do you have any
들어와서는요?
favorite?
별명이 일단
Well,
너구리를 제가 좀 저번에 인터뷰할 때 들었는데 좀 재밌더라고요.
I mean, I like things that were really cute, but sometimes I feel embarrassed at the same time.
별명 들을 때마다 약간
Whenever
별명이
like
사실
people
부끄러운 게
give me a new
많아가지고
nickname,
옆구리부터 해가지고
well,
그냥
starting
부끄러운 것
from
같아요.
the
아니, 그래도
everything
이렇게
starting
잘하면
from
아무도
last
할 말이
year,
없으니까.
sometimes I'm really
애칭처럼
embarrassed
얘기하는 것 같아요.
and
그래서
shy.
사실상, 올 SK 팀 가운데서도 가장 강력한 탑솔로 후보가 바로 이
And
너구리 선수라.
Nuguri, you are one of the
어디까지
strongest
올라가는 게
candidates
중요한 게
for
아니라
the
이미
all
너구리를
LCK
보여주는 이제
team
있기 때문에
lineup.
이런 애칭 담긴 별명들이 있는 것 같거든요. 그럼
And those
본인은
kind of nicknames
어떤
kind of
별명을 좀
reflects
불리고
how
싶어요? 들렸던
many people
별명
are
중에서.
actually paying attention to your play.
저는 들었을 때 좀 매운맛 너구리 그거
I like
그게 좀
the
제일
spicy Nuguri
최근에
one.
들었을 때 기분 좋았던 것 같아요.
I felt really nice when people called me the spicy Nuguri because it kind of means that I performed really well and really
저는
aggressively.
이 시점에서 쇼메이커의 얘기도 좀 들어봐야 한다.
I wanna
라고
hear from
생각합니다.
Showmaker
네,
as
사실
well
너구리가
because
너구리라는 별명이 있을 정도 고립대스가 좀
Nuguri
많잖아요.
does
그걸 또
like
그
make a lot of
Showmaker
isolated
선수가
deaths,
커버를 잘해줘서
but
어떻게 넘어가는
at the same
흐름도
time,
저는 꽤
Showmaker,
있다고
you are really good at
생각하거든요.
covering
너구리가
all
지금
those
막 웃으면서
situations and
인터뷰를
not
했는데
kind
이거에
of
대해서
making a
쇼메이커의
huge
생각은
deficit coming out from isolated deaths from Nuguri.
허건 형이 많이 죽긴 하는데
I mean, Nuguri dies a lot indeed,
그래도 이제
but
저렇게 공격적으로 할
when he-
만한 탑이 그만한 탑이 없으니까
I believe like there aren't many top laners who can like
장점이
play
있는 것
as aggressive as Nuguri, so I think he got a lot of
그런
strength.
얘기를 들을 만큼 대단한 화력을 가지고 있으니까 너구리 선수가 아마 거기에 대한 그 강점을
Yeah, indeed.
소메이커 선수도 말씀해 주신 것 같은데
Nuguri does have a lot of strength in terms of aggressive play.
뭐 픽에 관련된 뭐 여러 가지 내용들이 좀 많이 나왔었잖아요.
And we also
오늘 원하는
witnessed a
픽들이
lot of
꽤
new
많이
picks
제대로
like
적용한 것
Kog'Maw.
같습니다. 아까 뭐 판테온은 좀 아쉽다고 말씀하셨습니다.
Well, even though Pantheon didn't really end up well.
좀 오늘 약간 이상한 픽이라고
Well,
해야
today,
되나?
like maybe some
잘안
weird
쓰이는
picks
픽들을 많이 한 것 같긴
or
한데
unfamiliar picks.
아까 말씀하셨듯이
We tried a lot of
판테온만
those,
빼면
but except Pantheon, everything was successful, I guess.
그러면 이제 3세트에서 또 쇼메이커를 상징하는
So game number 3, you played your signature pick, Corki. Game was going really smooth, but there was a bit of an accident at the Dragon fight. How did the players react to that situation?
좀 비하인드 스토리가 있는데
There's a behind story in this.
제가 그 용전에 아이템을 살 때
So before the dragon, I told my teammates I'll go for QSS, but Burrow was like, we have Mikael, don't buy it.
바로 BF
So I just like instantly bought BF sword, but he didn't really actually use the Mikael for me, so feels bad, man.
이건 남 탓이 아니죠?
네, 확실한 내용을 가지고.
Well, this is not blaming, you know?
진짜 너무 웃기네요.
안 샀는데 좀
I mean, he told me not to buy QSS, but he didn't really play the play. He told me he's gonna guarantee, so felt bad.
작년에도 제가
Even in last year, he said the same thing, and I actually died because he didn't use his active items, so I don't know. Feels bad.
작년 걸 기억할 정도면 뼈 깊이 남은 것 같은데 오늘 것도 살짝 좀 흉터는
So,
남았지만 빨리 잘 해결하시길 바라겠습니다.
I guess
파이팅!
Burrow keep repeating the same mistake, but hope you can work on it all together.
말씀 안 드릴 수가 없는데 오늘 뭐 쿼드라킬까지 만들어내면서
So with that quadra kill on Corki, people are saying the Showmaker is back.
너구리 선수가 도란 선수를 많이 또
And also,
애정하는 장면들을 많이 보여줬잖아요.
그렇죠.
Nuguri and Doran, there is a lot of storyline as well.
어떻습니까? 좀 기대가 됩니까?
So, Are you looking forward to the top lane matchup?
개인화면 보려고 그 핸드폰도 샀거든요.
Yeah, I bought a new phone to watch Doran's
보려고
preview.
보니까 확실히 라인전에서 되게
So watching his preview, I think he's really good at laning phase. So I think he's really strong at laning phase.
어쨌든 그리고 일단 마지막에 킹존 인장도 막 띄우더라고요.
And we also saw the King Zone emotes at the end of the game.
DRX라고요?
DRX 이제 거의 끝날 때 인장 띄우는
I
장면 좀
mean,
있지
at the
않았어요?
end of the
고우스
day,
선수가?
game,
그러니까
didn't
크게
Ghost
인장을
use the
띄웠어요, 그때.
King Zone emotes?
합의된 게 아니군요. 알겠습니다.
I guess
네.
the Agree and Showmaker aren't aware of it.
아, DRX 나와. 준비해놨던 거 같아요.
네.
인장.
일단은 뭐 어떻게
So,
보면 DRX와 지난번에 그 만남이 있을 때 약간 좀 애매한 느낌이
Last time
있었잖아요.
against DRX was not a very clean
약간 억울한
game.
느낌의 숫자도 있었고.
And you
26.
know, there was a very unfortunate 26 HP nexus as well.
그게 있었잖아요.
You remember that?
네.
이제 다시 만나면 어차피 보면
And
어떻게 보면
it's
한번
rematch.
맞은 거니까 예방 주사를 맞은 거니까
And
세게
you
한번
guys
돌려주고
already
싶은
went
마음이 들 것
through
같은데
this, so I bet you guys want to pay it back, right?
이번에는 꼭
Well,
백도할
this
때
time,
그
when we go for a
26
backdoor,
안 하도록 제가
we will
꼭
make
전화를
sure
쓰던가
not to
이제
do the 26
또
again.
용준이 형이 테를 빨리 타던가
And I'm gonna make maybe Ghost TP earlier.
예, 몇 가지 있었거든요.
네.
정확하게.
예.
Or I can use Flash.
1초만 텔 빨리 탔으면 있겠다. 뭐 아칼리가 한 방에만 안
네. 그러니까요.
그러니까요.
Yeah, that was the exact points that people were talking over and over again after that
뭐 끝나고
unfortunate
약간
ending.
제가 풀 썼으면 이겼는데
Yeah,
그런가
after the
하면서
game, I was just
많이
keep thinking,
속상했어요.
oh, if I used the Flash, we could end the game. So I was so sad.
를 만들 수 있을 것 같거든요. 어떻습니까? 끝으로 이제 DRX
So,
만나겠습니다. 그리고
It's gonna be DRX versus Damwon Gaming, and Pyosik before today's game, he actually predicted that Damwon will win today because they are so performing well at solo queue games.
이제 만나게 되는데 어떻습니까? 각오 한 말씀씩 부탁드리겠습니다.
So what's your mindset going into the next round up against DRX?
오늘도 약간 이기긴 했는데 뭔가
Well, I mean, we did win today, but we were really sloppy and
거의 바로
shaky.
이틀 뒤 경기가
And I think we only have 2 days.
잘 준비해서
So it's a tight
가겠습니다.
schedule, so we will do our best to prepare for the next series.
저희가 DRX한테
Well,
좀 안타깝게 졌던
we had a
만큼 더
very
열심히 준비해가지고
a disappointing loss up against DRX, so we will prepare harder and try to make a cleaner victory next time.
다음 라운드에서 좋은 경기
So
기대하겠습니다.
this will be the end of the interview with Naguri Showmaker from
수고하셨습니다.
Damwon Gaming, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
선수까지.
Thank you, Ji-sun, for the wonderful translation, as always. Good to hear from the two solo laners from the side of Damwon Gaming. With their powers combined, they were able to bring their team to the victory here. And as they said, they've only got a couple of days to prepare for Dragon X, who were, of course, watching this series and studying exactly what Damwon does, what they like to pick, and how to pick apart their drafts, I'm sure. So will be very interesting to watch that match, especially because it will be a best of 5 between Dragon X and Damwon Gaming on Monday, 5 p.m. Korea time, as always. So will be fun to watch that match for sure.
And I definitely think that that series could actually go all 5 games. Whereas I don't think that I could actually say the same for any of the remaining series after that. So this might be the longest series that we've had in LCK 2020. Obviously, it is a best of 5, but the reason that I'm saying that is because Damwon are their own worst enemies. They constantly get advantages, and then they're all too eager to try to end too quickly, and if you try to do that against DRX, things can obviously get dicey. Likewise, though, DRX, they like to draft a lot of sinful team compositions very often, and so does Damwon, which means that there might be a lot of variance in those games. And even with draft advantages, I don't even know what that necessarily means for those two teams because of the manner in which it's likely to be achieved.
It really depends on the way they're able to play out the drafts on the day. And because of Dragon X having a little bit of extra time to sit back, just watch and study, I think I would have to give them the advantage alongside of the fact that they do just look like the straight-up better team. But not to say that Damwon does not have a chance. They certainly did come out today with some fire and ended it there with the Infernal Soul, and were able to take down the enemy team. So will be fun to watch them once again on Monday. That will be brought to you by Atlas and LS. And thank you guys once again for watching. That's going to do it for us, and we will see you on Monday for more of the LCK playoff run. Good night.